In this video, we're going to apply what we have learned or what we have discussed in our introduction for CVP and break-even point analysis to our problems or to the problems in our handout. So this is our handout. So discuss natin yung problem 1. So let me read the problem. ABC company produces a variety of products. One divisions makes product B, and the division's projected statement for the coming year is as follows. So take note. So this is variable costing income statement. So the company is using a variable costing income statement, and we have sales. So that is 50,000 units. So ang total loan is 15 million. Then we have variable expenses. So the variable expenses combination na ng cost of goods sold or product cost and also yung selling and variable and administrative expenses. Kasi wala naman sinabing distinction. So that is 60%. So most probably, yung contribution margin natin will be 40%. Kasi, so this is 40%. So ito 40% yan. Kasi 100% yung sales. So minus 60%, which is your variable expenses, then you will have the contribution margin. So total nun, 40%. So fixed expenses, so that's 3,300,000. And we have operating income, that's 2,700,000. So check na lang natin if our computation is correct. So 15 million. So that is 15 million minus 9. So 6 yun, tama naman. So minus 3.3. So total natin is 2.7. So tama yung income statement. So the first requirement is compute the contribution margin per unit and calculate the break-even point in units and repeat using contribution margin ratio. So remember, so we have 3 methods in compute for our break-even point. So yung break-even point natin, so yung break-even point, take note, so ang ibig sabihin ng break-even point, that is the level of so your break-even point can be yung level of output and level of sales. So ibig sabihin itong level of sales, this is amount. So dollars yan or peso actually. Wherein yung profit natin is equal to 0. So yan yung number of units of inventory or amount of sales na yung profit natin will be 0. So sa madaling salita, yung contribution margin will be equal dun sa fixed cost natin para mag-zero tayo sa profit. So pwede nating ma-compute. So we can compute the break-even point using 3 methods, di ba? So first, we have the formula method. So formula natin is break-even point in units is equals to the total fixed cost. So meaning yung product fixed cost tsaka or fixed manufacturing overhead and also yung fixed selling and admin expenses, i-divide natin ng CM per unit. Or we can compute for the break-even point uh, in amount or in peso or in dollars. That is total fixed cost, i-divide natin ng CM percentage. Kaya pag tinignan mo yung problem, actually, dalawa hinihingi sa atin. So, yung contribution, using the contribution margin per unit, so for number 1, so that's per unit. So, ibig sabihin, ang makocompute natin is CM, break-even point in units. And also, sabi niya, repeat daw using the contribution margin ratio. So, kapag ratio naman, ibig sabihin, ang makakompute natin is unit sales. O, hindi pala, is amount of sales pala. So, aside from the break-even point formula, so you can also compute the break-even point using naman yung tinatawag natin na equation method. Ayan. Wherein, yung profit natin, so ang symbol natin last time is ganyan, is equals to sales. So, yung sales natin, which is yung price multiplied by quantity minus yung total variable cost, and this is variable cost per unit multiply by quantity minus yung total fixed cost natin. Pero dapat, since break-even point yan, yung profit natin is equals to 0 dapat. So, yan. And aside from equation and formula method, you can use the graph. Kaya lang, for illustration purposes na lang ginawa natin for the graph. No? Yan. Let's answer the problem first. So, this is problem 1. Problem 1. So, sabi niya dun sa problem 1, so, sabi niya rin sa problem 1, compute the contribution margin per unit. So, take note. So, meron tayong sales dyan, the 15 million. So, para natin gagawin yun. So, number 1, di ba? So, tinatanong is CM per unit muna. So, pwede natin gawin dyan is, kasi yung sales, so pwede natin kunin yung contribution margin, which is 6 million. So, this is our CM. So, this is 6 million. I-divide ko ng units in inventory, and that is, sorry, units in sales. So, that is 50,000 units. Ayan. So, lalabas magkano to? 6 million. I-divide ko ng 50,000. So, lalabas. This is 120 per unit. So, kung ayaw mo niyan, pwede mong kunin yung selling price. So, para makompute natin yung selling price, yan yung 15 million, i-divide ko ng 50,000 units. So, para, ito yun, 15 million. So, 15 million, di-divide ko ng 50,000. So, that is 300. So, 300 per unit yan. Tapos, yung variable cost natin is 9 million divided by 50,000 units. So, 9 million divided by 50,000 units. So, that is 180. Kaya 300 minus 180. So, lalabas 120 yung contribution margin natin. Or, pwede rin yung 300 na selling price, multiply ko ng 40%. Kasi ang CM percentage natin is 40%. So, 300 times 0.40. So, that is 120 pa din. So, any method will do. So, it's up to you kung anong gusto mong gamitin. So, aside from the contribution margin per unit, so we're done with the first requirement. So, sabi niya, calculate the break-even points in units. So, gagamitin ko lang yung formula. So, I will use the formula method. And that will be, ano yan? So, break-even point in units. And this is the total fixed cost. I-divide ko lang ng CM per unit natin. So, we have the total fixed cost. And the total fixed cost or fixed expenses is 3,300,000. So, this is 3,300,000. Di-divide ko lang siya ng CM per. Remember, this is dollar. So, this is 120. So, this is dollar also. So, makakancel yung dollar sign. So, therefore, yung break-even point in units ko will be 3,300,000. I-divide ko ng 120. So, that is 27,500 units. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, dapat, tama ba? So, 3,300,000, i-divide ko ng 120. So, tama, 27,500 units. So, ibig sabihin, if I sell 27,500, there is no profit for the firm. So, if you want, you can check. So, to check natin kung tayo is correct. If we are correct, so, pwede na ako mag-start sa contribution margin lang. So this is 27,500 times ko ng 120. So pag multiply ko yan ng 120, so that will equal to 3,300,000, which is actually our fixed expenses. So kasi ma-minus mo dito yung fixed expense. So 3 rin yun. So therefore, your operating income or EBIT will be equal to 0. Eh sabi ko kanina before dito, para maging break-even point, dapat yung contribution margin mo should be equal to your fixed cost or fixed expense na nakita naman natin dito sa computation natin. So aside from the break-even point in units, sinihingi rin sa atin yung break-even point in sales or in amount. So ang formula naman nito, this is total fixed cost, i-divide ko ng CM percentage. Na yung this problem, ang CM ratio natin will be yung CM per unit divided by selling price. So selling price natin, naka per unit yan syempre. So this will be 120 divided by 300 o yan din yung 40%. Na you can also compute by dividing this 6 million dito sa 15 million. Ayan. So, makakompute mo yung 40%. Then, so we are now ready to compute for the break-even point in sales. So, that will be 3,300,000. So, remember, this is dollar. I-divide ko ng 40%. So, hindi makakancel yung dollar sign. So, 3,300,000, i-divide ko ng 40%. So that will give me $8,250,000. Ay, sorry, dollars ba to? Oh, sorry, this is peso pala. So this is peso. Yan. So peso yan. So this is peso pala. Ayan. So this is peso. So lalabas. So dapat, in order for us to break even, so meaning there is no loss, there is no profit, dapat your sales should be 8,250,000. If you want, you can try. So we have sales here. So this is 8,250,000. So take note, this is 100%. So variable cost natin is 60%. So this is 60%. So ito yung variable cost. So 8,250 times 0.6. So this is 4,950,000. So i-deduct natin sa variable cost. Then we can compute the contribution margin. So minus 8,250,000. So lalabas, this is 3,300,000. Ayan. So yung fixed cost natin is 3,300,000. So therefore, ang EBIT or operating income will be 0, which is our goal actually, to determine the level of sales wherein we are break-even. So if our sales is 8,250,000, break-even tayo dun. So meaning there is no profit, there is no income. So yun. So we're done with number 1. So in case you have questions, please let me know. Now, let's move on to number 2. So yung 2 and other problems pa aside from number 2, ito yung tinatawag na what if analysis. Kasi di ba remember, yung CVP analysis natin uh, is very useful for what if method. Ayan. So, sagutan natin yung number 2 in our next video lecture.